Hello and thank you for joining us here at the First Alert Desk. I'm Maria Moreau. The holidays are coming around quick. We are less than 2 weeks away from Christmas, and for a lot of people that is a stressful time, especially navigating holiday stress and managing family relationships. So we are going to provide you with some useful tips this holiday season. We're talking to Dr. Frieda Birnbaum. She's a research psychologist and the author of Life Begins at 60. Dr. Birnbaum, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
So I thought it'd be important, with all the excitement of the holidays and just spending more time with family, that we
Yes.
talk about the reality for a lot of people, and that is the struggles that can come with a time like this. Why do you think there is so much stress wrapped around the holidays?
There's so much going on. Sorry, this just fell out, of course, timing. There's so much going on during this time in our lives with wanting to be there physically, financially, emotionally. And we're stressed with the economy as well. So we're facing a lot of different obstacles. And the first thing is the gifts. We have to understand that not everybody needs a gift. It's for the children. And when you make something, it's even more memorable than when you buy something. So you don't have to spend a lot of money in order to fulfill someone's needs. And actually, they're more memorable. The memories of something unique that you make is very different than something that's commercial and advertised. Then the next thing is travel. When we have to travel, that's a big expense. It's time out from work or whatever you're doing at home. And you could always call if you can't get there or Zoom. And then you can have a friend or someone who's alone and have them over and celebrate the holiday that way. You don't have to do these things to make someone happy because believe me, everyone has their own pressures that they have to work through. And the other thing is clothing. We buy all these clothing for these different events. We're talking about Christmas, New Year's Eve, gatherings together with the family, and just look in your closet. And I can guarantee you, you're going to see things that you never wore and that you can use better than anything you can find in the store. So those are some of the things to take the load off of you. And we have other factors that could be much more serious. We're talking about somebody who's divorced, with the children that are involved. Keep the children out of the conflict. They have nothing to do with this. Make the scheduling easy and simple. And then there are people who are ill, and we need to really consider them because they want to celebrate the holidays just the same way as everybody else does. As I said before, you can Zoom, you can physically be there, but celebrate the memories, celebrate the future together, and be sure that you make it and keep it very positive because you have to stay in the moment to make it work.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you actually brought up the idea of finding creative ways to hand make a gift because inflation is a serious topic and a worry for a lot of people. We heard in just the last election cycle that economy and rising costs are top of mind for a lot of voters and Americans. So it's important this time of year to address the pressure, if you are faced with economic challenges, financial challenges, to not let that add to the stress, but find fun and creative ways
Yes.
to gift give with your family members.
It's very true. It's very true what you're saying. And it's important also to know that when you do get together, you don't have to feel so uncomfortable. There are strategies that you can take within the framework of where you are, which means that if you're sitting at a table, and I call it the triangle, it's the person who's in front of you, the person who's on either side of you. They're the ones, it's like real estate. Those are the ones that you'll pay most attention to. So make sure that that hour or so that you're sitting there, you're going to be able to feel there's a connection with the people you're seeing. And then when you're pushed into a corner and some relative is asking you, when are you going to have the children? What happened to your relationship? What about your career? We can always push that conversation off to someone else. Find the nearest person next to you, pull them in, change the conversation. The person won't even know that you did that. and you can slip away easily. Another thing that you can do is just say, excuse me, I'm going to get a drink. And it's not your fault if somebody goes and talks to you while you are going ahead and going for that drink. So there are ways that you can ease the pressures when you have these strategies, when you get together with people, because the important part of this is to keep the memories alive and to connect to one another. And it's not so much what they say, but the feelings that you have that are going to last into the next year.
Yeah, certainly. I wanted to bring up two scenarios that come to top of mind when we talk about some uncomfortable holiday stress with navigating family relationships, and that's often, facing divorce, which you touched upon, and also that call of when are you coming to visit for parents that are new empty nesters or have children that have gone off into the world. What are some ways that they can start or navigate conversations to avoid that type of stress when they are trying just to meet up again and spend time together around the holiday season?
You're always in charge of the topics that you speak about. You can even think about what you're going to say before you get together. And this helps you to ease into the right kind of conversation. So if you're an empty nester, you can talk about what you're doing, what's different, what you enjoy. Keep it positive. Don't be a victim. Don't complain about what's going on in your life and what kind of help you need, because they don't want to do that. They don't really care, to tell you the truth. This is not a therapy session. So when you do go and you do talk and you think of light things, it lifts the mood of everyone. And it also lifts your mood to see that there are things to be grateful for. And it's not a bad idea when you're sitting at that table to make a toast and what you're grateful for, because that really keeps the right perspective of where you are. After all, we're very fortunate that we have these comforts in our lives that a lot of people really don't have. They don't have these opportunities to be able to have delicious food on the table, people that do wish you well, most people that do wish you well there, and to be able to sit back and say, well, I did have a lot of things in my life that have changed towards the positive. And when you think of those things, and when people are trying to pin down, why haven't you? It doesn't mean just because you haven't done what they're saying you should have done, that's the only way, the only direction. I'm having trouble with this, I'm sorry. This is horrible. The only direction to go into. So there's many ways of solving a problem by talking about things that could be exciting to you that you've done, volunteer work, helping a neighbor, being able to navigate a trip that you never navigated before, having new experiences in your life, new people in your life. When you think about the year, a lot of time has gone by, and you can think about your New Year resolutions and say, I did some of that stuff. So you can pull in information, make yourself comfortable, and also make yourself positive so the people around you really are enjoying who you are, what you've done, because after all, they talk about things. They don't really know what to talk about. They're trying to pull stuff out. So you can be the leader. You can be the one that directs their attention. And don't stay with one person. You don't have to just stay there and feel you're being inconsiderate. Everybody needs a break. Everybody wants to see other people. So when you mingle and you walk around, you give other people opportunities to have different insights and different perspectives to their experience as well. So don't feel obligated. I know a lot of people, they stay with one person the whole time. Everybody's bored, but they feel it's disrespectful. Absolutely not. Excuse yourself. You don't have to come back, and you can go ahead and circulate. That's the best way to have a good time during these holidays.
That's such a refreshing perspective. You talk about advocating for yourself in a positive and respectful way, of course, but that's something that a lot of us forget to do while we're, managing these relationships that we obviously want to keep and care for. You actually listed out some easy ways to identify and navigate stress when it seems inevitable. Part of those phrases that you use are the triangle and the pass-off method. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, when you go into a room, the first 15 minutes, you should spend looking around. Who is really there? Who is worthwhile for you to feel that you're connecting? And then when you have that, then it's very easy for you to go ahead and get somebody else involved with the conversation and move on to the next person. So it's really looking at the whole room before you even go ahead and connect. It's navigating where you are, navigating having this theme of, I'm going to go to number one, number two, number three. And then that triangle becomes more open, and that pushing to a different place becomes something that can be actually a lot of fun because you have the insight of talking about different topics. So it's important to know you can lead the conversation, you can talk about the topics that are important to you, and therefore the other people will also be stimulated because they themselves are trying to make it interesting, and you take the pressure off of them. So those are the things that you can do when I talk about a triangle. Another thing to remember, even at the table, you don't have to feel stuck, that you don't have to sit there. You can get up, walk around again. You can leave that space, come back again, and no one's going to be insulted. You don't owe anyone anything except yourself to feel that you're having a nice experience. If you want to, you can do that. You can talk to some people because you haven't seen them. They're your aunt, they're your uncle, but don't do this to yourself. Don't push yourself to just spend all this time and forget your surroundings, because in the long run, what's going to happen is it's not going to end up positive. When you talk to somebody long enough, after a while, you're looking what to talk about, and then you lose control. So keep it simple, sweet, and short is really the best way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about, politics at the table being a really bad idea for trying to maintain healthy relationships and avoiding arguments, especially. Is there anything that people should avoid doing while they're planning out their family gatherings or getting ready to get together after a long time apart?
Do not drink too much. I'm telling you, it seems so obvious, but one drink can relax you, takes the edge off. That's wonderful. Two drinks, maybe, three drinks, you don't even know how many you drank after that. And you're not even in the moment. You may as well be home drinking. So that's the first thing you need to do. And a lot of people drink because they're nervous and that they feel that they'll be more conversational. But if you're drinking more than anybody else around you, you're really going to stand out. So that's one thing you should really avoid. Another thing to avoid is if you have little kids and they're going to be upset and they're going to be bored, you're not doing anyone a favor, because you're going to end up being the parent for those children and not really being part of the scene, part of the room. Leave them home with a babysitter unless they're old enough to appreciate being there. And of course, if there are other children, it makes it more easier. And you can always bring a babysitter if you do want your children there with you.
Some fantastic tips there to keep in mind, especially as a lot of us get ready to see some family members. I want to make sure we didn't leave anything out. You are an author, you wrote a book, Life Begins at 60. You also host a podcast where you regularly talk about navigating
Yes.
relationships. Any overall thoughts this holiday seasons for people just trying to make it through and spend time with their loved ones?
Realize that if you have your health and the people that you care about are there with you, you're very fortunate. And those people that are not there with you, that you care about, you can make a toast to them. Absolutely bring them into the room and make sure that their memories live on. So you can be positive with everything that's around you, the people that are there, the people who couldn't make it, the people who are no longer around, and have a conversation through them, and to make a toast to be thankful for what you have, and to talk about some of the experiences you've had with the people in the room and the people that they know that are not there as well. So you bring everybody in, and it's like the white elephant in the room. If you don't talk about those people, those memories will fade. And don't think anyone else is not thinking about it either. So you may as well make them center stage for a while, and it'll make everybody feel more comfortable also. So absolutely, in your toast, talk about people that are not there, and everyone will be able to celebrate those memories together.
That was beautiful and certainly inspired me to just make sure that I call up my loved ones and let them know that I'm
Yes.
thinking of them. Dr. Birnbaum, I want to thank you so much. Of
Thank
course,
you.
all of these tips are going to be on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. Send it to a loved one. Let them know you're thinking about them and you
Yes.
want to have a fantastic holiday with them. These are some great ways that you can do that.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you.